It's time to work together and defeat the vicious tyrant, before they defeat you, cause then you can't fight each other anymore in Tyrant Hunt expansion.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play the Chroma Arcana Tyrant Hunt expansion, game designed by Mo Shoa and published by Rocknest Games. And do check out our tutorial for the base game to understand how you play the expansion.
And hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Tyrant, welcome to Meeple University.
And hey, if you enjoy this video after watching, like, subscribe, comments, you know what to do. Alright, grab some popcorn and let's get to the classroom.
The time for 1 versus 1 backyard mage battles is over. A terrifying tyrant is attacking the land of Alcar. And now 2 to 6 players must band together, use their spells cooperatively, and defeat it. Or perhaps take on the battle alone in a solo challenge. If you're watching this video, it's assumed you already know the base rules for Chroma Arcana. And so in this video, we'll take you through what's different and how to fight against and how to be attacked by your common enemy, the Tyrant. To set up, instead of the base game's 4-slot spellbook, give each player a 3-slot spellbook board. Begin with 9 health as usual. You won't use the base game ego cards. Instead, shuffle and deal each player 1 cooperative ego. You can tell these apart as they all contain the keyline Tyrant Hunter rather than the ones from the base game. Cooperatively, each player chooses 1 major colour and 1 minor colour. Your 2 colours must be different, and all players' major colours must be different, but otherwise there's no restriction. From your major colour, take the 5 basic spells, the Sigil, Arcana and Rote. And from your minor colour, take the 5 basic spells and Arcana. Take 1 copy of the expansion's Fractured Arcana. This will be your only chromatic card. The 4 chromatic spells from the base game are not used. And shuffle them into a 14-card deck. This is much smaller than the 26-card deck you're used to from the standard game. Set up the Tyrant cards. There are 3 decks of shared Tyrant cards, and you'll use these cards in every game you play. These come in 3 decks: Cautious Behaviour, Vicious Behaviour, and Spells. Then there are 5 different Tyrant enemies you can play, each with some number of its own cards, which always show the same image. For your first game, play against Chahak, and sort through the cards by their backs, placing them in the appropriate stacks. Set the other Tyrants aside, shuffle each deck individually, and then place them near the Tyrant spellbook board, with spells to the left, vicious behaviours above, and cautious behaviours stacked on top of vicious behaviours. The Tyrant's starting health is 10 per player, so if this were a 3-player game, I'd put 3 health markers all on the 10. Players draw a starting hand of 4, and you're now ready to play. The game plays in alternating turns, starting with the Tyrant turn, then the player turns. For the Tyrant turn, resolve all steps from top to bottom on the card. For the players resolve their turns simultaneously, with all players resolving each bullet point before all players move to the next one. That means all players will perform minion actions, then remove sand from their minions, then discard edicts, and so on. The basic aims of play are unchanged. Both the Tyrant and the players will be trying to add spells to their spellbooks, charge them, and then cast them on their opponents. The players win if they do enough damage to reduce the Tyrant's health to 0. They'll lose if all players run out of health, or if the Tyrant begins its turn with no cards in its behaviour deck. Since one of these is flipped and resolved each turn, it gives the players 11 turns to win the game. So let's see how to resolve a Tyrant turn. The first step is Instinct, reveal and resolve a behaviour card. Which type of card this is determines which type of turn the Tyrant is playing. Your first turns in the game will be Cautious, while midway through the game you'll switch to Vicious. This switch has no impact on the Instinct step, but when you get to the prepare step, the Tyrant's turn is going to be more powerful on a vicious turn. The vicious half of the deck is also where you'll find the Tyrant's personal behaviour card, and therefore where its unique abilities might resolve. The second step is focus, and you resolve this the same way you would a player's focus step. First resolving minion actions, then removing sand, and then discarding edicts. The only real difference is that unlike the players, the Tyrant is not limited to a single minion and may have several. In this case, resolve the minion's effects from left to right before removing the sand and discarding cards as appropriate. Always slide left to fill up any spaces in the Tyrant's active area. Next is prepare. On a cautious turn, fill one spellbook slot and add 1 charge to each Tyrant spell. On a vicious turn, fill 2 slots and add 2 charge. Filling a slot means drawing the Tyrant's top spell card and placing it in the leftmost empty space of the spellbook. If the Tyrant's draw deck is empty, then shuffle the discard pile to form a new draw deck. Have the Tyrant sacrifice 1 health for each living player, not just 1 health overall, and continue drawing. And if the spellbook is full, ignore any subsequent draws. To charge the spells, simply add the charge tokens onto the spells the same way you would the human players. Finally, cast magic. From left to right, check each spell in the spellbook, and if it's charged or overcharged, then cast it. This works exactly as it would for the human players. If it's a burst, resolve its effect and discard it. And if it's an edict, ward, or minion, add it to the active area, including adding sand if it's a minion. These are always placed left to right, so anytime simultaneous effects occur with these spells, you'll resolve them left to right. And do not slide cards to the left in the spellbook. Any uncharged cards remain where they were. After the Tyrant is done, proceed to the player turns, and all players will resolve each bullet point on this card simultaneously before all players move to the next. The sequence and the way you play the game is unchanged from the base game, and all you need to know are some of the new interactions and rule changes. Firstly, your hand limit is now always 4 cards, never 5, and your spellbook is limited to 3 cards instead of 4. Unlike the Tyrant, you're still limited to a single minion, and despite your much smaller deck, you're still going to have to sacrifice a health to reshuffle your deck every time. For the purposes of spell effects, your rival is now the Tyrant, not the other players. Spells which apply specifically to your spells or assets can affect only you. However, an effect like this, which specifies neither you nor your rival, can apply to any spell in the game. As such, here you could sacrifice a health to charge one of your own spells, a teammate's spell, or even a Tyrant spell if you wish. The cooperative egos and the fractured Arcana card are specifically geared towards this cooperative play. The heal effect is also fully cooperative. Anytime you gain a heal, you can spend it on any one of the players. When you deal damage to the Tyrant, be sure to check the Tyrant's active spells for any triggered effects. Do note that all Tyrant minions are considered selfish, meaning they are never discarded to block incoming damage. If a spell affects a rival's hand, then instead discard the top card of the rival's spell deck since it has no hand. Finally, when a spell affects a rival minion and the Tyrant has multiple minions, you always choose only one of those minions to affect. When a mage's health is reduced to 0, that mage is eliminated. It no longer takes a conventional turn, but the player may add 1 charge token to another living player's spell in their spellbook at the end of each prepare step. An eliminated mage is also no longer considered living when resolving Tyrant spells which refer to living players. The game ends and the players lose if all mages are eliminated, or if in the instinct step of a tyrant turn there are no behaviour cards to draw. But if the tyrant runs out of health before either of these things occurs, then the players win. You can increase the difficulty of the game by reducing the size of the behaviour deck, bringing an instinct loss sooner. For a hard game, discard the top cautious card, and for a tyrannical game, remove the top 2 cautious cards and the bottom vicious card. You can also choose to face the tyrant in a solo game. When playing solo, you'll go back to most of the base rules to resolve your own play, including using the 4-card spellbook, the base game egos, the standard deck construction, including the normal chromatic cards and 2 minor colours, and using a hand of 5. The only real change from the standard deck construction is that potions are not used at all.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe you would like to watch this next one. Have a great day. Bye.